Hi guys, Dan Cooper here from Pro Tools Expert, and this is a video with a twist. It's not a product review and it's not an overview either. Instead, it's more of a test, and the test is how quickly can we put a mix together using just the plugins in Softube's Volume 1 plugin bundle. Now, I've got a track here that I worked on several years ago. It's by a band called Valve Control, and the song's called Philosophy. Simple lineup: drums, bass, two guitars, some extra guitar-y licks and lines, a lead vocal and a backing vocal arrangement. Now, the drums were recorded live, the bass and guitars were recorded DI, so not through an amp. So what I'm going to do for this mix, as I said at the beginning, is use just the plugins in Softube Volume 1 to help this mix sort of get a bit more vibe and reality to it. And just to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm doing this to the clock. So I've got 15 minutes from after playing a section of this song back to you to get into the thick of it and mix using just the Softube Volume 1 plugins. So get yourself a cup of tea, sit back and wish me luck. So here's the first section of the song. I'm just going to play through the first verse and chorus so you get an idea of what the song's all about.
Knuckle down, make something of myself. Watch my clock.
So you can hear it just sounds
It's ticking, time won't stop.
overall just a little bit lifeless.
Conserve it well, ignore the spell. Break
The musicianship
away.
is great.
Don't settle, don't stay in one place. There's much out there, just be aware. Don't be the same, no cause for cigarettes and fame. It's just a war, but what we need is philosophy. It's a real life place for you and me. It's a decency. Shake your body, let your mind run free.
Okay, so let's talk you through what I'm going to do here. As you can probably hear, I've already got myself a static mix going. No plugins at all are enabled, although I have chosen the plugins I want to use. It's a mixture really of things like the Trident A-Range, got the FET Compressor, the TLA-100A, of course the Softube free saturation plugin, absolutely love that. The Drawmer S73, which is Softube's intelligent, easy to use multi-band compression unit, the bass amp room, the vintage amp room, fixed flanger, fixed doubler, and the Tazar 1 reverb. So let's start the timer and see what we can get done in 15 minutes. And let's hone in on the drums and bass guitar to start with. Now the drums do sound quite nice. Let's put the bass in. Sort of let down though by the tone of the bass. So let's fix that straight away. So bass amp room, let's engage that. You can hear it starts to add some grit and body. But it's a little bit too woofy. Let's try and focus it a little bit. Now the bottom here, we can choose fade between the direct in and amplifier. Now I think a little bit of mix of the two is going to work quite well. Let's get rid of some of that saturation by lowering the volume. Increase the treble. Let's limit the direct in and mix between the two a little bit. Cool, let's bypass. Back in. Sounds a little bit better that. Right, let's move on. Sticking with the bass. See if we can add a little bit more with some EQ. So back around again. Quite like the little slap sound we're getting in the bass there, so let's increase around about 2k. Just a little bit, and a touch more body down at 100. Now, be honest, the bass player is really consistent with his dynamics. Yeah, I still want to give it a little kiss with compression, so let's load up the FET Compressor. Only something subtle. ever so slightly. Right, that sounds good to my ears. Now let's look at the drums. Start really with the kick. Let's get in again with the Trident. Just give it a little lift there. Let's move across the snare. Little bit of compression. Nothing too crazy. Let's hear it with the bass. Okay, sounds pretty good. Now I've got the drums all routed through to a stereo bus. Here I'm going to start to do a little bit more work. So add a little bit of compression here with the TL A100A. Just a tiny bit of glue. Only something subtle, that's all I'm looking for. To help bind these drums together a little bit more, I'm going to use the free saturation knob. This is an absolute peach of a plugin. It works every time. Now, instead of pushing the low ends and sort of fuzzing that up, I'm just going to keep that and start to increase the saturation. You sort of hear it brings out some nice detail in the top end there. Back it off a bit. Right, let's move across to the S73, another glue plugin here. Now this does multi-band witchcraft and it does it very well. Just going to keep it on clarity and increase the effects. Just going to bring down the output ever so slightly. Okay, let's do a little bypass here. Let's hear what the drums sounded like before. Okay, happy with that. Let's move across. Now, the guitars. Just solo them for a second there. Typical lifeless sounding DI electric guitar recording. That just doesn't pass. So, this is where I'm going to use the vintage amp room to put a bit of life back in it. And in this plugin, we've got 3 amps to choose from. We've got something that's a little bit Marshally, something that's a little bit Fendery, and something that's a little bit Vox AC30-ish. Now, I've used this for years, and I'm not a fan of the AC30 sound, and I'm not a fan of the Marshall-esque sound, but the Fender is the peach for me. That one always sounds absolutely brilliant. So let's try and get a good guitar sound with this. It's not going to be too difficult. Already massive change and a good one. Now let's try and thin it out a little bit. Hit the bright switch in. Let's hear it with the drums and bass. Okay, let's move this virtual microphone around the cone. See how we get on. No, too distant. Sounds good. Let's bring the bright off now. And before and after. Yuck. Put it back in. Much better. let's put the second guitar in, jump to a chorus and hear how that sounds. So the first guitar is a Stratocaster that we've just fixed there with the Fender-esque model in the vintage amp room, and the second guitar is a Telecaster. This sounds pretty good. Gonna keep that, leave it be. So, let's try and give a little bit of life to that main guitar there, the Stratocaster, by using some reverb. Something short, something sweet. Way too much. Add a little bit of modulation to it. Something very short. Just to sort of put it in a space, put it in a room. Let's darken it up a little bit. Let's hear that back in the mix. Bring the mix down a little bit. Check. Cool. That sounds quite nice to my ears. Let's move across. So next up, let's look at the backing vocal arrangement. I like to mix backing vocals before I mix lead vocals. It's the mixing pyramid. I like to start at the bottom, that being the drums and bass, moving up the pyramid to the guitars and other instruments, and then moving above that will be backing vocals, what I'm going to work on now, and the cherry on the cake, and the top of that mixing pyramid is the lead vocal. So let's just solo those backing vocals so you can hear what's going on. Right, so we've got 6 minutes left. Let's do this quickly.
Philosophy, it's a real life place for you and me.
Sounds great. Let's use just a little bit of compression.
Decency,
just to sort of bind them together a bit.
Shake your body, let your mind run free.
Sounds good. Maybe a little bit of saturation as well.
Philosophy.
Nice. Now, I want this to sound a little bit bigger. So a good plugin to use for that is the doubler. And I'm just going to use preset number 1, doubling, and increase the mix.
It's a real life place for you and me.
And bypass.
Oh, it's a decency.
Back in.
Shake your body, let your mind run free.
And in the mix.
It's a real life place for you and me.
Perfect.
It's a decency.
So let's move across to the lead vocal now, and again I'm going to keep it really simple. Compression. The TLA 100A. This does a brilliant job at just leveling out things in a really musical way. So let's hit it up from the verse.
Well, don't be the same. No cause for cigarettes and fame. It's just a war. But what we need is philosophy. It's a real life place for you and me.
Sounds good. Now let's put a little bit of space around that vocal, and I've got 2 buses set up, one for reverb on the far left there, using the same reverb as I used on the guitar, and a second bus for the delay. And the delay I'm going to be using is this, the tube delay. Let's go from the verse.
It's ticking, time won't stop for me. Conserve it well, ignore the spell, break away. Don't settle, don't stay in one
Something
place.
subtle, nothing too much.
There's much out there, just be aware.
And let's do the same with a little bit of reverb.
No cause for cigarettes and fame, it's just a war. But what we need is philosophy. It's a real life place for you and me. It's a decency. Shake your body.
Sounds great. Now let's just roll to the end of the song where we've got two guitars playing a little out riff.
Philosophy, it's a real life place for you and me.
Now, if memory serves me well, these were recorded with a wah pedal, one being toe down and the other one being heel down. Now, it kind of works, but I think we can extend that idea a little bit further by using the flanger. And I'm just going to turn them on and increase the mix on both. And back in the mix.
Shake your body, let your mind run free.
Perfect. Now, for the last minute and a half, I'm going to run over to the master and we're going to use the S73 again just to finish it off a little bit. So let's roll in from the verse into the chorus.
Love it well, ignore the spell, break away. Don't settle, don't stay in one place. There's much out there, just be aware. Don't be the same, no cause for cigarettes. I'm famous.
Something out there. Got this hair switch.
What we need is philosophy.
Too much. Let's bring that back.
It's a real life place for you and me. It's a decency. Shake your body, let your mind run free.
Something like that sounds good. Right. And that there concludes 15 minutes quick mix of a song using nothing but the plugins in Softube Volume 1. For more information about Softube's Volume 1 plugin bundle, please visit the Softube website. Plenty of information there, plenty of demo videos as well to help you along your way. I've been Dan from Pro Tools Expert, and thanks for watching.